When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And my guest is an example of that. Please welcome the very brave and extremely talented Karan Patel.
Karan, welcome to PINKVILLA.
Thank you.
You know, for this segment, like I said even before we started, it's a free-wheeling conversation. We are going to go down your journey, talk about you, celebrate you. But before that, I have a small surprise.
Surprise.
Yes, so there is someone who's very, very close to you and has sent us very, very sweet message for you.
Wow.
I would love to play it.
Sure, please
Let's do it?
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, Karan. Oh my God, I'm so excited for Darran Chhoo. I'm so proud of you. I know you forever now.
It's Dashu, right?
Apart from being a wonderful human being and a great person and a lovely friend, I have to say, you're one hell of a brilliant actor. And I've always felt that you deserve way more than you've achieved. And I have a very strong feeling that that's going to happen with Darran Chhoo. Rohit's heard the script and he is like, oh my God, it's going to be crazy. So we are so happy for you. We're so excited. Me and Karan have had some crazy set of memories from shooting together for endless hours to actually going on trips with our better halves. I think we've done it all. I think one of my fondest memory would be Cappadocia, where we went on to the hot air balloon, and it was just such a gorgeous view, and it was just so amazing. Good. Actually, you asked me about our memories because it just brings back that how we've not been on a holiday together. So I think after this interview, I think we should just go out and plan something. We've gone out with our better halves. It's time to take a trip with our kids. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to a nice vacation that we can take. And yeah, he's a prankster. He's very naughty. If you ask about anecdotes, I mean, there are just so many. He's a brat on the sets. He's done some crazy stuff, uh, which I can't even share, to be honest, because he's such a brat. But yeah, like I said, that post this interview, hopefully we'll go on a trip and we'll make many more memories with our kids. Oh yeah, and he hates clicking pictures. Maybe you should make him pose and take a few pictures of him and share it with me. He just hates posing for the camera. And I don't think I need to say it, but I'll still say it. I love you and all the best. And oh my God, congratulations. Can't wait for the screening. So yeah, have a wonderful interview here and have fun and love you loads. Mwah!
Wow, that is so sweet, man. I mean, you can expect Ashu to do this. She's been one of my closest and one of my oldest friends.
Yeah.
I think she's not a friend, she's family. I mean, I don't even remember how many years we've been friends for now. But the funniest part is that when I got to know her initially, I was doing a show called Kavyanjali, where she was playing the lead. And I was playing a prop, which was probably kept to hide some carpet corner, which was dirty or something of that sort, because that's what most of our actors were. And we had gone to Hong Kong for outdoor, supposedly for my wedding sequence, for 9 days where I didn't have a single dialogue.
Acha.
Yeah. and I had at least like 3 or 4 scenes to shoot, and it was her show, obviously. That's when I got to know her. And yeah, since then we've been like friends, family. Like, she's my go-to person. I mean, yeah, if I'm in a bad mood, she knows why I'm in a bad mood. If I'm pissed off on set, she's the only one that the production will go to and say that, can you just get him on set, because it's difficult and we would dare not enter this vanity right now. So yeah, she's one of those people I can't have my way out with.
I can see your eyes well up.
Yeah, she's.
Clearly a bond. When I called her, first call got missed. When she called back, I said, I'm doing this interview with him, and if you can send the voice notes, it's happening in a few hours. And she said, Abhi bhejti hu na.
She's a darling.
Yeah, you can realize that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Let's begin from the beginning. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this year also finishes 20 years of you being in the business. I think 2003 Kahaani started.
Yeah, Kahaani, 20 years.
That was also your first proper show?
First ever screen time of mine was Kahaani.
So 20 years in the business.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did you get that show?
So Kahaani, basically I had auditioned for the character. And I think one or 2 days after the audition, I got a call from Sandeep Sikand, who was the creative head on the show, that we wanted to play this character. You and Ekta saw the auditions and stuff like that. And at that point of time, since then, or probably even before that, my father and Jitendra, they've been really close friends, their whole gang. They've been like buddies for the longest time, over 4 decades. So Ekta had no clue who I was, because I had never met Ekta as my father's son, or as socially. Nor did Bauji have any idea. That's what I call Jituji. So I said, and dad also didn't care to mention, because he said, you figure a way out. So the audition happened, and then Ekta liked it, and I got a narration. And when everything went well, went on set, I was excited as hell. Only to realize that my first shot in my life was from my back.
Oh.
Yeah. And my debut dialogue was, you know what? Badi maa, bas. Piche se. But again, that's how you learn. I mean, yeah. But again, from that show onwards, I've been so fortunate to have made such good and genuine friends, right? From Sakshi to Ali Asgar to Tina.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth from there. Chetan and me, we've met each other from Kahaani, Hansraj.
Correct, of course.
So yeah, but that show gave me some great lessons and even greater friends.
Did you always want to be an actor?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Do I look like I could have done anything else?
Sure. You know, I always say there are some actors, Karan, who, whether they are actively working or not actively working, whether they are giving hits or flops, there's a star attached to them. This has happened with you. Even if you're not working since the last few days, even if you took a 3-4 year break between 2 shows, this word star has always been attached to you. क्या पाया और क्या खोया स्टार बनने के लिए?
स्टार बनने के लिए, see, I'll tell you, स्टार बनने के लिए खोया कुछ नहीं है, but पाया ही है, because if you want to become a star, then you can't be too attached to too many things. I mean, you need to be ready to lose and ready to move ahead, because that's a destination and this is part of the journey. So you need to decide what you want. And this again comes from the man I worship. He said, he's very clearly about it, कि मुझे कोई शौक नहीं है आम चीजें करने का, because I've struggled all my life to be a superstar.
Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the most honest and the most brutal fact that a man at that stature can put.
Yeah.
Like, you've spent half your life trying to be recognized and be famous, and then you want to start cribbing that you miss doing normal things. I'm sorry, then that's hypocrisy, right? Yeah. So either or. So खोया कुछ नहीं है, पाया बहुत कुछ है. In all ways of life, I think did wrong, learned right lessons. Did right, got wrong treatment, so learned the right lessons again. And made mistakes, lots of them, but made sure that don't repeat the same mistakes, make newer ones.
Yeah. Wrongs we know about, Karan.
Rights even I don't know till date. I'm just guessing.
But when you say did rights but got wrong treatment, tell me about this. It's true. It's a very hard fact. Also, maybe I'm not generalizing, but especially in our business.
Yeah. See, what happens is, many times that you probably take a step towards doing something for a friend or somebody you know, or so when somebody who approaches you with a certain amount of expectations or aspirations of theirs, which probably you could be a part of to help their journey move ahead, there are a lot of times that you assume that your value, your emotional value, or your presence, your value for that person is way more than what you probably think it is, and then it's the other way around eventually.
Yeah.
है ना, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि लोग कंधे पे बंदूक रख लेते हैं and then बंदूक भी वहीं छोड़ देते हैं और चले जाते हैं आगे.
Correct.
They don't even care to pick the gun up back from your shoulders.
Yeah.
So yeah, होता है, and again, it takes all kinds of people to make a world. I mean, अगर सारे ईमानदार होते तो फिर तो हो पड़ा हिंदुस्तान का.
Correct.
है ना?
Yeah. Like I said, you started with Kahaani. You've done so many shows after that, and then came Kasturi. Kasturi shut, and a lot changed post that. When you look at the time from when Kasturi ended to when Yeh Hai Mohabbatein happened, how do you look back at those years now?
Oh wow, the darkest phase of my life, I guess. Yeah. Kasturi shut for a reason, and the reason was me. But not many people know this, I guess. I was erratic back then, in the days. Yeah. So, like I said, learnt good lessons out of wrongdoings. So I thought I'd become too big for my boots, and I was a superstar. मतलब TV ये है वो. I thought मेरे बिना चलेगा नहीं. Only to have the show shut and then realize that nobody can be spared. You know,
Yes.
and nobody is bigger than the medium, and not even Khan Sahab can be bigger than his films.
Correct.
Nor can a newcomer be bigger than his whatever project he's working on, because at the end of the day you need to be seen, and if you do not respect the medium where you're being seen, I don't think you can achieve what you out to achieve.
Yeah.
So this, learned this lesson a very hard way, and I think for 4 years between YHM and Kasturi, I had no work. I mean, not a single phone call had come. So, what else do you do? I kept telling people, it's on a break, but you don't take a break, man. People don't give you work because of what you've done. So, like I said, your reputation precedes you.
Yeah. What made you think at that point in time that you are undisputable?
Yeah, that's the first ever time that I did a show as a main lead. So what happens is then that sudden overflow of recognition, or people trying to, take a picture with you or take an autograph or trying to just shake hands with you. All this had never happened to me before. Although prior to Kasturi, I had done almost about 13, 14 shows as cameos or
Correct.
blah, blah,
Smaller,
blah.
bigger ones.
Yeah. You sneeze and miss kind of roles, basically.
Yeah.
So nothing like this sort of happened. So maybe that's what got into my head. And I didn't realize that,
You think if you had someone back then to handhold you, you would have done better?
Nah,
No?
no ways.
This is what I love about you.
यार why pretend? I mean, मैं स्कूल में टीचर नहीं कर पाई यार, तो आगे चल के क्या कर लेगा यार? And I mean, that's how you learn, ना? If you don't fall, you'll never learn how to ride a bike.
Correct.
So you need to fall to know what it is to take care and to balance.
Yeah.
The fear of falling has to be there for you to learn the art of balance. Simple as that.
Correct. But all these allegations about reaching late on the set, being rude to
True.
people, drinking on the set.
True. 100% true. If you were stupid enough to do it, be strong enough to own it.
Yeah.
That's the fact of life.
Yeah.
Did all those mistakes, but as long as you know that they were mistakes and you don't repeat them, well and good, lesson learned. It's part and parcel of life. I mean, everybody falters. Everybody does probably go down the road they're not supposed to, at different levels, or maybe at different points or different ways of life. So,
Yes.
हम भी चले गए.
कोई था उस टाइम पे जिसने आके बोला गलत कर रहे हो?
चीयर्स करने वाले सारे थे ना, इसलिए तो हम रुके नहीं. साथ देने वाले बहुत थे. But लेकिन there could have been people who wanted to try and warn, but like you said, the attitude and the arrogance was so much at that point that maybe people who genuinely wished well also chose not to say anything because they never knew that the kind of reaction they would have got.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure and I'm happy that it didn't, because नहीं तो बहुत सी दोस्तियां टूट जाती हैं यार.
But is it still the same Karan, or I'm sure you've evolved over the years? It's changed a lot.
कोई मतलब हेलो, पागल हर डाकू वाल्मीकि नहीं बन सकता भाई. Evolve मतलब it's not, you've learned less, you've become smarter, but you've not changed as a person. And what's the point I don't think a person can ever change. A zebra can't change his stripes,
Yeah.
right? But he can choose the spot to graze at, no?
Correct.
It's graze at a different spot, but you can't change your stripes.
Correct.
So I'm never going to change as a human being, as a person. For me, what was black is still black, what was red is still red. I'm still going to call a spade, and I'm still going to probably shut you on your face if I don't like you.
How are you dealing with the temperament then?
I'm not, people around me are dealing with it. I'm not me. What have I got to deal
I
with?
don't know how to take so much honesty.
Arre,
I'm so unused to this, you know.
people have to deal with it. Why? That's the best part of being honest. So there's no baggage. मेरा क्या है? तेरा problem है, तू झेल.
That's true.
I'm not pretending. I'm not putting up a facade.
Correct.
I'm just being myself.
That's true.
And you choose to associate, so you deal with it. If you don't, you can walk off.
That's very true. And it's so liberating, Karan, to see it like that also, that somebody is really off this baggage. And I'm sure this also takes off a lot of pressure from you.
But the pressure, because there's so many things to rather take stress for.
Correct.
Than to add this.
Yeah.
First of all, I have a very weak memory, boss. So if you lied to somebody, you need to have a very smart brain and a very sharp memory. कि किसको तूने कब क्या झूठ बोला है. But if you're an honest person, you can be the biggest on earth and not give up. Because कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना.
Correct. झूठ नहीं.
क्योंकि मैं तो सच ही बोल रहा था ना. Even if you remember, don't remember, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Simple. But I think pretense is something that you can't do for too long, because for me, it becomes difficult to look at the mirror then. यार. What are you looking at?
I agree.
Are you looking at how well you're fooling yourself, or how guilty are you feeling by fooling others?
Yeah.
That's the question.
True, that is the question. When you were on that break for 3-4 years,
Forced
does
break.
that forced break, yes, it was a forced break, that's the right word, did it affect your mental health?
It did. Yeah. I mean, anybody on the face of this earth who was out of work for 3 years after being at a certain prime
Of course.
would be probably lying through their teeth if they say that their mental health wasn't affected. Everybody is here. I mean, some accept it, some don't. But I think there's no harm. I think in fact, it takes a lot of balls to come and say that, yes, mentally I was affected and I've overcome it now. And luckily, it is probably a lesson you tell yourself, or you learn, or you probably keep telling yourself that, when you were strong enough to go through that, you can go through anything else.
Yeah.
It's like a self-assurance. So, yeah, mental health does get affected and it takes a toll, yes. But what happens is that the pride that you have of overcoming it is so strong that doesn't seem like a mental setback anymore.
Yeah.
So now when you look back and think, ना, मेरे को ऐसा था कि तो ठीक है ना, तो 3 साल घर बैठा था, तो तेरी गलती थी ना, गलती किसी और की तो थी नहीं.
Correct.
So make sure that you don't do it ahead. Simple as that. So it's like, you've come to terms with yourself back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, mental health does get affected, because what happens is around you, everybody is working.
Yeah.
Everybody was not as stupid as you were, right?
Correct.
They've not made the same mistake. They didn't dig their graves. You're the only one who did it.
Yeah.
So now when you have your friends and everybody else is working and you see their life prosper and move ahead, it is not jealousy, it is not envy, it is the regret that kills you. You have nobody else but yourself to blame for it. It's always good when you have someone to blame, ना?
Correct.
तो स्ट्रेस आदमी अपने आप से कम कर लेता है.
Yeah.
कि छोड़, मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया, उसकी वजह से हुआ है. बट यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं ना भाई.
Correct.
It's all you, 100% you. So when it was a downfall, it was you. When it was a rising, it was you. So if you've taken the rising with pride, you take the downfall with humility and learn. Simple.
When you say it took a toll on you, what happened?
You start becoming an angry person, a bitter person, because it's the anger you have within you with yourself. But it unfortunately leashes out on people around you. Maybe for no reason, you start getting snappy, and you're just not in a correct space of mind to probably look at everything from a different perspective. You start looking at everything from that one old dark corner of your head, that one dark perspective that nothing is going to happen right. ये हो रहा है, blah हो रहा है, this ये नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ. But you don't look at the other side of the coin because you're in such a dark space at that point.
Yeah.
So today when I look back and I say, shit, this is how I reacted to that, I laugh. Okay, damn, how stupid was I? But then that's what anger does to you, it blinds you.
Yes, it does. Did you try to reach out to people back then saying, "Kam de do"?
I did. No, actually no. Back then I'd never reached out to people because I wanted to first make sure that I don't f up again, no. Because I need to prepare myself not to make those mistakes again, right?
Yeah.
So just because you understood where you were wrong does not mean that you know how not to do the same wrong again. There's a lot of difference between knowing where you went wrong and knowing how not to repeat that mistake. They're two different aspects. So back then, before I went out for work or reached out to people, I need to make sure that probably I don't make them regret their choice.
Yeah. And you also don't go back into that hole.
नहीं, मेरा तो क्या है, तो बाहर कहाँ आए थे जो अंदर वापस जाएंगे. But it's just that nobody else needs to be paying for your sins, no? Nobody else has to bear the brunt of your mischief or your misbehaviors.
When did you realize you're ready for it?
I didn't realize. I got a call one day from Balaji. Ketan had called, saying that Ekta wants to meet you for a show. And I was amazed. I said, wow. She's also does not learn from her mistakes, man. Nor have I. Dude, I said, wow, Ekta's called me again for the show. So that's fair enough. So I went to Balaji. And they had already shot a couple of episodes with Shazan.
For Yeh Hai Mohabbatein?
Yeh Hai Mohabbatein was supposed to be Shazan's comeback vehicle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shazan Khan is Kasauti Zindagi Ki.
Yes. So, in fact, I'll tell you what, my entry in YHM, the introduction shot, all the walk and everything from the back, if you realize, I'm 6 feet tall and on the front I'm just back to 5'8.5" because वो सारे शेज़ान के shots use किए थे because at the last minute, I don't know what happened to Ekta. That's the problem about being genius. You know, they are finicky. You never know what clicks and what doesn't.
That's true.
So yeah, so I got a call. I went Ekta, and it was Ganpati time again. And so I went to Krishna Bungalow, met her. She said blah blah blah, this and that, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but I don't think anybody else can pull off this character because, and you know, Ekta's way of narrating characters is amazing. I mean, I don't even know if she's slapping you without raising her hand. She said, you know what, the character of this guy is a bastard. He doesn't give a f*** the world. And he's arrogant as hell. I said, Ekta, are you getting back at me or is it a narration? She said, no, I'm just trying to tell you because this is the reason why I don't think anybody else can do this better than you. Yeah. I said, wow, is that a compliment or this is the probably? So anyway, that happened. So that's when I told Ekta, I said, I'll try not making the same mistakes again, but I also promise I will make new ones. I'm not saying I will not falter. Maybe not in the same way, but maybe in a different way. Could be bad, could be better, could be worse.
You told her this?
Yeah, I told her because I had to make it very clear, no, Baba?
Correct.
Tomorrow don't crucify me if I land up putting my foot in the wrong hole and then don't crucify me. You promised this and that. I said, I promised you I will not make the same mistake, but I promise you I'll make newer ones. Explore, no? The world is big. You never know what is considered a mistake, no?
Yeah. And what did she say?
She said, fair enough.
She did?
I'll take the gamble. And I will always be grateful to Ekta for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
She's one of my closest friends, and also before a friend, she's always been a mentor and a boss.
Sure.
And what I love about Ekta is that when she's on set, like she's probably closer to Anita than I am. But when she's on set, for her, Anita and me both are actors. It is not that favorism that happens. She will not even bat an eyelid before firing me if I'm late. Sure. But God's been kind, she's always later than what I am also. So it doesn't matter. Ekta's coming on set. If I'm 4 hours late, she's generally 6 hours late. So it doesn't, I'm on time.
Yeah. But when you went on the set again, say you started shooting for Yeh Hai Mohabbatein, did you then land up late? Did you like...
Yeah, it happened.
It happened?
Yeah. Chor se jaye, hera pheri se na jaye. It happened a couple of times, but not as often.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, it was fun.
But you know, alcoholism is such a thing, na Karan, it's hard to realize that is it becoming an addiction or is it just I'm doing to chill?
This is probably one of the reasons which I was the most happiest about is that I realized the fact that it's me holding the bottle not holding me. Because there were it's not like, oh my God, you have these, what is it called? What's the right word for withdrawal symptoms and stuff? That doesn't matter. I didn't even realize that I've not probably picked the glass or not had a drink for 4 days. Because what happens is you were living life in a different light back then. You were gymming, you see the changes in you. And then when you go home on time, you probably see that there are other people in the house also who are happy looking at you.
Yeah.
Because you were living in a different time circle altogether, in a different time span altogether, no? Because people's wake-up time was your sleeping time.
Yeah.
Because of shooting hours being erratic or whatever the reasons. So, but now when you start doing everything as per the human and biological clock, when you see people waking up when they're supposed to wake up and sleep when they're supposed to sleep, and you do that with them, you realize that life is much more than just shooting, drinking. There's lots more in life to look forward to.
Yeah. You said forced break. उसमें आपने कुछ picture नहीं भी की. You regret them today?
No, I don't regret them. Why would I regret them? In fact, I remember...
Rules. And like I said, you were a superstar and you still are. I
mean, I still don't mind doing like superstar. Like, this is what I'm saying now. So this... I don't know, ego would be the wrong word, but looking down upon any kind of work is probably the worst thing an actor can do to himself.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was in a position to be ashamed of doing any kind of role in any kind of a film or whatever it was, because you've brought it upon yourself. I should have been grateful to God कि शुक्र मना ये तो मिला है. Something's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
घर बैठ के सल्क करके guilty feel करके क्या कर लोगे? At least ठीक है जी, get out, do some work, so you now realize that maybe shit, I was so wrong. It just helps you work on yourself faster.
Yeah. Was that phase financially difficult?
God's been kind that way, not really. Yeah, God's been kind that way, not really. But yeah, that thing of not making money and yet having the same kind of lifestyle, or the guilt of having the same kind of lifestyle but not having to go through trouble for that, is what actually is much more painful than having a financial trouble.
Wow.
When you know that you're not financially stable, but yet you are living that kind of same lavish lifestyle and without anybody else going through trouble, because God has been kind, He's given you more than you can deserve, touch wood, it makes you even more guilty and makes you hate yourself even more.
What is that guilt like?
That guilt it's crazy. I mean, I'm too proud to even talk about, oh my God, I wanted to destroy myself. Balls. I didn't want to destroy myself. I wanted to teach myself a lesson. But the problem is I didn't know how. What happens is, guilt also makes you very weak.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and especially when it's just guilt with yourself. And when you've done wrong to yourself, not to somebody else. To do wrong to somebody else and walk away is very easy. A lot of people do that. They don't feel guilty about it. They have made that way. Yeah. But if you've wronged yourself and you're lying to yourself, is the worst guilt and the most strongest guilt, and it breaks you. You don't know how to stand up to that.
Yeah.
So that was my challenge. I needed to teach myself a lesson.
When you're saying it's playing on my mind. When you're saying so much honestly about all the mistakes that you did and you're aware about it, you're taking away the defense mechanism from yourself. And you're leaving yourself vulnerable out there.
I learned.
It's so difficult.
No, I learned that with that's alone time span. That you don't need to console yourself, or you don't need to shield yourself with your own excuses or reasons or talks.
Yeah.
You need to put yourself out of the entire fiasco and look at it from a third person point of view. So when you treat yourself like a third person is when you realize that
क्या कर रहा था मैं? That's true.
So it's like how Bachchan Saab talks to the mirror, na? तू नहीं पिया होता तो तेरे को मारने को सकता. That's the perspective you need to look at yourself from.
Yeah. Things started looking upwards since 2013?
Yes.
What changed? How did life change? Of course, Ankita happened.
Ankita happened. Meher has happened after that. The best part of our life. And production houses happened.
Yes.
My first film, I don't even remember how long back I must have made up or decided that I will not cut a birthday cake till I don't do a film on the big screen. Having said that, I think it's been 10, 12 years I have not cut a cake on my birthday. Hopefully, probably this birthday, I just hope that audience gives me enough reasons to cut the cake.
They will, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Fingers crossed. We've all worked so hard for the film. Yeah.
Darran Chhoo is what we are talking about.
Yes.
Before we get into that, tell me, Ankita is the producer of this film. Have you reached set late anytime?
I can't afford to.
और फटकार लगी उसके लिए फिर.
Can't afford to. एक दो बार हुआ है, but not late.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a lazy guy. मतलब I'm not a morning person. नहीं होता मेरे से यार. So yeah. Then होता ना, silent look is enough. है ना?
अच्छा, हाँ. What does Darran Chhoo mean?
Darran Chhoo means that you scare your fears. डर जब तुमको डराएगा ना, तो तुम डर के सर पे चढ़ के बैठो.
So ironical.
So basically, this is I can easily put it this way, that probably Darran Chhoo is something that I coined or I invented for myself. The script is nothing to do with the film story or such, but I'm just saying that the meaning of Darran Chhoo is what probably I invented for myself. That the fear that does not make you break the mold and evolve is the fear that you need to scare.
Yeah, it was high time we saw you playing the lead part. What was it about this one that you felt I can do it?
I don't see when we heard, honestly, the director Bharat, whose story is it is, and he's done the screenplay for the film as well and directed the film. So we had gotten in touch with him to doctor a script which was offered to me for some other film.
Okay.
So Bharat was just consulted to doctor some other script.
Huh.
And he said ऐसा है and this I think this would be better this way, blah blah blah. So I said, yeah, we had a meeting with the director of this story and the writer of this story, but the other person also was living with this script for a far too long time for him to accept the fact that no, I need to make changes. Things eventually didn't work out. So then Bharat said, chal, I don't know, I have a subject, sunna ho to. I said, suna. And that's when this happened. So he narrated this story and I was like, damn, this is amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And the kind of, what Darran Chhoo deals with, the film deals with, is something that you, me, or probably everybody in this room or this building goes through in life. So it is not a story of a person who's encouraged the entire nation to do something on their own, or who's encouraged the entire world to be fearless. And he's not an action hero. He's nothing. He's a common man trying to overcome his fears, and through nothing else but just doing the same things you do, but with a different approach. Like for example, if you're say someone says scared of water, people have a phobia of swimming pools, right?
Yeah.
So they generally tend not to get into the water, and they're scared. But it's just that you need to overcome this fear by looking at it from a different point of view. What you can do is probably stand in a bucket at home for some time, so you'll realize what the feel of water is. You're not doing something out of the box.
Yeah.
But it's just that baby steps towards overcoming your fears, which every common man does. Boy, girl, old, young, anybody.
Sure. I've felt what I've also spoken to my friends and my friends in the casting space also. They have this certain thing called as a TV tag.
Yeah.
बोलते हैं तुम बहुत ओवर एक्सपोज हो, तुमको टीवी पे सब जानते हैं तो हम तुमको कास्ट नहीं करेंगे. Does this really happen? Does this feedback come very often?
Yeah, it does, and it's a very harsh, bitter, but a very honest and truth about our industry. That there's a lot of this. There's a barrier between the TV face and the film face, and people say, okay, now the mediums are coming closer. They've merged with OTT coming on. I said bullshit. There is still that, like how it used to happen for us with regional cinema earlier. Before the cinema down south taught us that they could also be bigger than what we are.
Correct.
Only for us to then accept them with open arms. But that difference that we had is now what we still have between television and films. But I don't realize, or I don't understand why they don't understand a simple aspect. It's a very simple question I would want to ask anybody who has this, any director, any producer who has this kind of point of view, that if you think a TV face is overexposed, don't you think that the face would have had something for the same audience to come to it over and over again on a daily basis for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years?
Absolutely.
If you think a face is overexposed, to watch that same face, I come 365 days for 5 years non-stop.
Yeah.
So then that face is not an overexposed face, then that face is something which is selling.
Exactly. Same concern, that if the actor is so popular, then how is this is a bad thing? It's a good thing for your own show.
When any commodity in this world, when it gets popular, is when it starts selling more.
Correct.
You don't discontinue a product when it starts selling more, right?
Have you given this argument to the casting directors, and what are they saying?
I believe casting directors are probably the what do you say? Not the bridge, but probably they try and be the bridge between getting you to meet the people on the other side. But eventually it is their point of view or their decision which is going to decide whether you can stay on that side or you need to come back, right?
Yeah.
So today casting directors have a different place in the industry. See, earlier used to be coordinators. Casting director nahi hote the. Casting coordinators bolte the, model coordinators bolte the. But today they have a different respectful position in the industry, be it TV, be it OTT, be it films, where they are given the reins and the responsibility of casting, but yet not the casting the entire cast. If you know, the fact is that the main cast, probably the guy, the boy, girl, or maybe the prime characters, the top 2-3 notch characters on whom the story is going to be based, is still cast by the director and the producer. Like for example, even the biggest of casting people, like say who have an eye for time, Shanu Sharma. Shanu casted for Rocky and Rani, right? But then Ranveer and Alia were already Karan's choice, so she had to cast keeping in mind that Karan wants Ranveer and Alia, so I need to cast other people who will suit this choice of Karan Johar's, right? It is not that she was given a script and said that you cast everybody from the film, for the film. So the point is that. So casting directors also now cast keeping in mind that who the director has chosen as a main lead. Like if I've chosen, for example, if I've chosen Ranveer Singh, then I might as well I need to have a best friend who's equally loud. I can't have a subtle best friend.
No, what I mean to ask is, how do you break this barrier now? How do you tell them we can
Tell me about it, man. I had to produce my own film for me to break the barrier.
Is that also why you had to do it?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I had to do it, because see, eventually what happens is you wait, people will appreciate, they'll see, everybody is good. People who are from the industry and are very close to you, who are filmmakers or directors, are not casting you. That does not mean that they are disloyal friends.
Yeah, of course.
They are also loyal friends, but the point is that they also know, they know their business better, we know our business better.
Yeah.
So maybe there could be something that a certain point of view that he's thinking from which I might not get.
Yeah.
So I can't hold a grudge for that. I mean, eventually it all has to happen when it has to happen.
Yeah, true. You know, I have always very, very liked your work. So I was very happy when the second chance happened in 2013. I'm very happy that Darran Chhoo is happening. But your Instagram bio says, life is a stage and I'm glad I chose to be an actor.
Yeah.
What does this actor want to do now?
Oh, this actor wants to do lots. I mean, this actor wants to keep acting, never hang his boots. And yeah, he wants to keep, probably the same kind of success on the big screen as I had on the small screen would be good to start with.
I'm manifesting that.
Learning.
I have to buy a ticket first.
Yes. Learning to manifest, waiting for the universe to resonate.
Yeah.
Universe to dur ki baat hai, khali industry resonate kar le bas hai filhal.
Sure. In 20 years, what has been your biggest learning and your biggest regret?
Biggest learning. Drinking once a week is really fun. Biggest regret is shit. Why didn't I know this before I drank every day? No, just kidding. Biggest learning, not kidding, but yeah, there are bigger lessons than this. Biggest learning is that don't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Hai? And one slogan that I've learned, and I would want people to also learn, is that this too shall pass. In any kind of life, whether you're in the most miserable phase of your life, or you are at the top and the peak of your career or your life, emotionally, financially, wherever you are, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
So you do not give up when you're down there, and you do not be flying too high up there when you're shining. That's the biggest learning. And the regret would have been that you know that this too shall pass, but I wish I knew an easier way for this to make this pass faster.
There is no easier way.
That's the regret, that there is no easier way.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one.
There is no easier way. We'll all have to work hard to make these things happen. And you know, I was telling Avantika before the interview started that mentally I was not in the space since morning and I was not feeling too good. But after this conversation, I'm feeling really light. I'm feeling really happy.
I'm glad I could do that.
And thank you for being so honest. It's so rare for us also to come across people like that.
You should try it. Trust me, I'm telling you.
I keep asking.
Next time, be brutal to the next person sitting on this chair. As brutal as you can. Yeah.
No, I ask questions, but it also depends on
See,
how
what
they
happens
open
is
up.
most of the people, like I said, you know, this is my, I gauge this. Most people don't be honest with a fear that their honesty might not be accepted as honesty, and they might be judged for being honest.
Yeah, that's also true.
So most of us pretend because we are scared to be judged.
Yeah.
But then you need to realize that who is somebody else to judge you?
Correct.
And at the end of the day, you are answerable to yourself.
Yeah. And like I said, it's liberating. Once you're honest, then you're clear. Then you can just do whatever the you want to do. Sorry for the language.
As long as there are no voiceovers when you see the mirror, no? Like you talking to you.
Yeah.
You know when you've screwed up. You know when you're lying to yourself.
That's true.
As long as there's no voiceover conversation with yourself in the mirror, no, you're sorted. You'll sleep easy, boss.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much, Karan. We are all taking so much back from this conversation. Thank you so much for being so honest.
That pleasure's all mine.
I can't wait to see Darran Chhoo and everything else you're doing in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.